According to our sources, the attacks were aimed at catching the attention of a man whose identity remains unknown. I'm sorry. There seems to be a
disturbance? I'm a big fan. Now move! It seems that you're looking to spend some money in this great city of ours. I'm here to tell you that the Torchheads are open for business. You've got the money, we've got the power. So let's talk.
Hey, you can't go in yet. We need to wait for the reinforcements.
Reinforcements have arrived. Drop it, scum.
The original RoboCop, directed by Paul Verhoeven, stands as a titan among action films. Released in 1987, it cleverly combined science fiction, action, and black comedy in a layer of biting social commentary.
Drop the gun. You are under arrest. Thank you for your cooperation.
Verhoeven's vision presented a dystopian Detroit, a city emblematic of urban decay and corporate greed, setting the perfect stage for the story's gritty realism mixed with futuristic fantasy. The brilliance of RoboCop lay in its character development, particularly that of Alex Murphy, portrayed by Peter Weller. Murphy's transformation into RoboCop was not just a physical metamorphosis, but also a deeply emotional and existential journey.
Murphy had a wife and son. What happened to them?
She thought you were dead. She started over again.
I can feel them, but I can't remember them.
It explored themes of identity, humanity, and the soul, asking profound questions about what it means to be human in an increasingly mechanized world where technology and human flesh intermingled in a way that was both fascinating and unsettling. It distinguished itself with its over-the-top violence and satirical tone.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Doesn't matter. We're going to blank his memory anyway.
Well, he signed the release forms when he joined the force. He's legally dead. We can do pretty much what we want to.
And pushed the envelope of what was acceptable in mainstream media, using its graphic nature not just for shock value, but as a tool to amplify its commentary on violence, media saturation, and corporate corruption. It was ahead of its time, combining a smart script, compelling characters, and cutting-edge special effects to create a world that was as thought-provoking as it was entertaining. As players step into the world of RoboCop Rogue City, developed by the savvy folks at Teon and brought to us by Nacon, they carry with them the legacy of a film that redefined a genre and left an indelible mark on the landscape of cinema.
He's got killer!
Your move, creep.
Intriguingly positioned in the timeline after RoboCop 1 and 2, but before the third installment, Rogue City harkens back to the glory days when Verhoeven's RoboCop dazzled us with its no-holds-barred violence, razor-sharp one-liners, and eye-popping special effects, all while sneakily slipping in some sharp jabs at corporate culture. This isn't just another first-person shooter wearing a RoboCop costume. Teon has managed to capture the essence, the very soul of the '87 classic. It's not just good, it's the most genuine RoboCop experience we've had since the original series. The story is a classic action flick narrative. A villain who wouldn't be out of place getting hurled from the top of Nakatomi Plaza in Die Hard is wreaking havoc, and stepping into the metallic shoes of RoboCop, it's up to us to stop him.
My name is Wendell Antonowski. I believe you've met my brother before. My brother really did a number on you, didn't he? But, thanks to him, you've been given this great opportunity.
Megacorporation OCP continues its nefarious ways, and the streets are overrun with gangs high on more than just life. RoboCop continues his existential dance. The remnants of Officer Alex Murphy are still grappling with the age-old question, what's more dominant, his humanity or his mechanical parts? This time he's got a therapist on board named Dr. Blanche, diving into this meaty theme.
So we can't rule out that your actions are influenced by your human part. But that's something that I've already learned from the reports. What I would much rather hear is how do you perceive yourself?
At its core, Rogue City is a FPS that's about mowing down bad guys, and it does so with a smart focus on what makes Alex Murphy RoboCop. We're effectively controlling a walking fortress, and the motley mix of street gangs, bikers, and mercenaries we face are like paper dolls compared to our metal-clad protagonist. There's something undeniably satisfying about marching straight towards them, shrugging off their puny bullets before unleashing havoc with our legendary Auto-9 machine pistol. It's a symphony of destruction that's music to any action lover's ears. The violence is as over the top as ever, taking gore to a level that's both hysterical and jaw-dropping, with arms and heads popping, bodies flailing in ragdoll physics, and a chorus of enemies lamenting their newly detached limbs in a veritable rain of red, like a grisly yet oddly entertaining paintball match. Safe to say, it isn't a family-friendly picnic. It's as R-rated as its cinematic ancestor, but the violence here is cranked up to a degree that's more comical than disturbing. The game throws a diverse rogues gallery at you. You've got street gangs, snipers, heavy troopers, urban enforcement droids, and the infamous hulking ED-209, each challenging you to strategize beyond the usual run-and-gun tactics. You can also pick up enemy weapons like shotguns, heavy pistols, sniper rifles, rocket launchers, and assault rifles, but their ammo is finite, unlike your trusty Auto-9. And for a dash of comedy, you can throw around explosive barrels, or even the occasional unfortunate henchman. Not to mention the interactive funfair that is the game's environment, which is not just there for show, but is an integral part of your combat strategy. There's a visual feast in exploding monitors and a confetti of paper and debris, but it's more than just eye candy. We're blasting through enemy cover and creating our own pathways through destruction. The jewel in the environment destruction is breach opportunities. They're like our personal action movie moments, where we're bursting through doors or crumbling walls, diving into a slow-motion ballet of bullets and justice, saving hostages before the bad guys even know what hit them. The neon-lit, synth-infused world is a love letter to the iconic 80s action movie franchise. The game isn't just a mere adaptation, it's a meticulously crafted homage, clearly a passion project crafted by the most dedicated of fans. The attention to detail here is borderline obsessive. RoboCop looks and sounds just like he stepped out of the silver screen, thanks to Peter Weller's unmistakable voice.
I am a cybernetic organism, a fusion of both the remains of the policeman Alex Murphy and this high-tech armor.
Whether you're patrolling the gritty streets of dystopian Detroit, strutting through the OCP corporate office, or hanging out at the Detroit West Precinct, the game captures the movie's ambience with an almost eerie precision. And the 80s vibe is dialed up to 11. It's the little things like the scan lines that appear when you zoom in for a shot, highlighting enemies that truly bring the nostalgia home. For the nostalgia buffs, RoboCop Rogue City is like a treasure trove of Easter eggs and references. Even if you're not a die-hard fan of the franchise, the game stands on its own as a thoroughly enjoyable shooter. But for those who have RoboCop in their pop culture DNA, it's a whole other level of enjoyment.
I'd buy that for $1.
The story picks up in the wake of RoboCop 2, plunging us into a Detroit besieged by a fresh crime wave, with the city buzzing with whispers of the new guy, a shadowy figure rising in the criminal ranks.
You see, Officer Howard made a drug bust that cost us a lot of money. Oh man, you're gonna have the time of your life. There you go. Enjoy.
The game kicks off with the Torchheads gang seizing a news station, aiming to catch the new guy's attention. RoboCop, alongside his partner Anne Lewis, storm in to thwart their plan and save the hostages. This serves as our introduction into the gameplay mechanics, but the mission is also more than it seems for our cybernetic hero, as he starts experiencing disturbing hallucinations of his former life, momentarily throwing us off during a crucial rescue, forcing Lewis to step in.
Our family is the only thing I need to be happy.
Last chance, weirdo!
I love you so much, You okay there, Murphy?
Back at the precinct, Max Becker, an OCP employee with dubious morals, is appointed to oversee RoboCop, while engineer Morgan and psychologist Olivia Blanche provide support, with OCP also implanting a chip into RoboCop to enhance his abilities.
Well, I can already see some unwanted activity in your hippocampus. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Other than that, everything seems to be installed correctly.
Throughout the game, we interact with a colorful cast, including Pickles, a homeless informant, Ulysses Washington, an OCP police recruit, and Samantha Ortiz, a reporter, not to mention a number of shopkeepers, citizens, and vagrants in his path.
You work for Soot. Tell me where to find him.
You cops are giving me a stomach ulcer. Stop asking me about guys I don't know.
Withholding information can lead to bigger trouble than a stomach ulcer.
The hunt for the Torchheads leader, Soot, takes us from arcades to hideouts, with Pickles providing a crucial tip about a gang meeting at a slaughterhouse. After capturing Soot, and is taken hostage by the new guy, later revealed as Wendell Antonowski, who harbors a personal vendetta against RoboCop, stemming from the death of his brother in the first film. Wendell's disdain for RoboCop's remaining humanity is evident as he shoots Lewis, leaving her in a critical condition.
To have your abilities, and yet you attach yourself to something that is the weakest in you, to the part that's still human. This is not an act of revenge. This is a gift.
F you, scumbag!
Lewis!
Our quest for justice leads us to the Street Vultures biker gang and their enigmatic leader Spike, the investigation uncovering a series of grim discoveries, including preserved bodies and a deceased officer. In a showdown at the gang's quarry hideout, backed by a police squad and an ED-209 unit, we confront the heart of the criminal operation. But the ED-209 malfunctions, turning on the officers and allowing Spike to flee, forcing RoboCop into a desperate battle against the rogue machine.
OCP sent us a malfunctioning unit. I bet they did that on purpose. And what about the other cop killer? Where did Spike go?
Wherever he went, justice will find him.
As we patrol the gritty streets of Detroit, we stumble upon side missions that embody RoboCop's core directives: serve the public trust, protect the innocent, and uphold the law. Some of these missions are delightfully mundane, like issuing parking tickets to offending vehicles, but it's not all administrative work. Other side missions are more elaborate, weaving engaging subplots.
Open the door, or you will regret it.
Can't a guy just sell drugs to kids without you harassing him every 5 minutes? Who am I hurting, huh? They all want it.
The game also nails moments of dark humor, like RoboCop manning a police podium, solemnly listening to citizens' complaints, only to have a criminal trying to turn himself in for a reward. The action is thrilling, but it's these lighter, human moments that truly bring the game to life.
My neighbors are hostile toward me. I think it's because they're jealous of my new dog.
What is his name?
He has a beautiful red coat, so I call him Fire. He likes to hide, so sometimes I have to yell, "Fire! Fire!" to find him.
When visiting our partner in the hospital, we soon uncover a chilling mystery. Corpses with intact brains have been stolen from the morgue, a heist that appears to be connected to Wendell.
Is there any link between the bodies?
Actually, there is. Our thieves were very picky. All of the corpses had their brains intact. They didn't take a single corpse that had documented brain trauma.
The plot thickens when RoboCop helps the OCP SWAT team in reclaiming the OCP bank from the Vultures, a gang betrayed by Wendell for refusing to compensate them after a robbery. A significant character is the Old Man, the frail CEO of OCP, residing in the remnants of old Detroit, where the ambitious Delta City project is planned. When we follow a lead to Spike, under duress from the Torchheads hired by Wendell, he reveals that Wendell had been salvaging corpses to harvest their brains.
He needed us to extract brains from corpses. Most of my men didn't have the stomach for it.
Why brains?
He would never say. Wendell keeps his cards close to his chest.
The pursuit leads us to an abandoned mall, where a confrontation with Wendell triggers severe hallucinations, climaxing in a haunting vision of his past life. Despite these challenges, RoboCop succeeds in apprehending him. Meanwhile, Lewis emerges from her coma, and the Old Man suffers a heart attack, underscoring the growing instability within OCP in Detroit.
Those saboteurs inside OCP won't let me.
Are you referring to Max Becker?
That weasel seeks not only to destroy you, but also my company. Be wary of him.
Suspicions arise within the police force about Wendell's connections within OCP, with fingers initially pointing at Max Becker. Of course, it doesn't help Becker that he lures RoboCop into a dangerous encounter with his urban enforcement droids, a scenario from which we emerge victorious, impressing the mayoral candidate Mills.
And Mr. Becker, you promised to show me a reliable remedy for this crime wave, and you really did.
Yes, I've been working on UEDs for the past 5 years.
I meant RoboCop. He's proved once again that he's still the top player.
When we make our way to the prison, RoboCop interrogates Wendell, who cryptically hints at his involvement in Project Afterlife. During a riot instigated by Wendell, armed mercenaries free him and then target Lewis in the hospital, who's more than capable of taking care of herself.
I'm all right, Murphy.
Our doctor, Olivia Blanche, also begins to suspect that her work computer, containing RoboCop's psychological profile and her research, has been hacked by OCP. And after defending her from mercenaries at a hotel, we trace a signal from her computer to the sewers, where we uncover a shocking revelation. The old man had employed Wendell.
You're saying that OCP has Wendell on their payroll?
The old man is the one who signed his contract.
That son of a bitch. I knew he was behind all this.
The twist adds another layer of complexity and intrigue to the game's plot, blending corporate conspiracy with personal vendettas. By the time we return to OCP headquarters, we discover the old man's death and Max Becker's ascension as the interim CEO. Unfortunately, Becker's radical plans include disbanding the entire police force, replacing them with robots, and scrapping the old man's ambitious afterlife project, which aimed to create cyborg citizens as a means to cheat death.
Do not be amazed when a man grows rich, for when he dies, he takes nothing with him. Until now. Afterlife, OCP's answer to death itself.
Hi, I'm Eve, and I've died. But that's not stopping me. With the newest development in cyborg research, OCP was able to give me another chance.
The game reaches a crescendo when it's revealed the chip implanted in RoboCop is a jammer, activated by a trigger in Wendell's lighter, which has been gradually degrading our cognitive abilities and preventing us from stopping Wendell.
Keeping you alive this long was a mistake. Let me erase that mistake.
Once we remove the chip, a desperate battle to restore order in Detroit ensues, with the city plunged into anarchy with gangs, robots, and mercenaries wreaking havoc. It's here that RoboCop becomes a beacon of hope, rescuing civilians from a fire caused by the Torchheads, thwarting a bridge bombing by the Vultures, thereby neutralizing Spike, and battling an ED-209 unit commandeered by mercenaries.
Smoking kills.
So, you finally took care of that, huh? We'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way. Gentlemen, I'll leave you to your work.
The narrative then leads us to the remnants of old Detroit, where we uncover a laboratory set up by the old man and managed by Wendell to be the epicenter of Project Afterlife, leading us to the unfinished district of Delta City, where the final showdown unfolds against Wendell, his mercenaries, and the UEDs. Hilariously, Wendell's downfall is sealed when his mercenaries, realizing the funding for Afterlife has dried up, abandon him, leaving us to confront and ultimately eliminate the Hans Gruber lookalike.
I am only human.
Then why don't you die like one?
In the climactic moments, a distress call from OCP sets RoboCop on a path to the corporation's executive floor, where a shocking scene unfolds with Becker attacked by RoboCop 2, the mechanized entity originally controlled by the brain of the drug lord Kane.
RoboCop! My #1 guy! There seems to be a misunderstanding.
A startling revelation comes to light. The old man had transplanted his own brain into RoboCop 2, seeking a transformation akin to Murphy's. However, things take a dark turn as he becomes violent, exacting revenge on Becker for his betrayal.
You sold the city's future. That leaves one question. Scrapyard or prison?
Naturally, a fierce battle ensues between us and the CEO-controlled RoboCop 2, resulting in the destruction and eventual collapse of the whole OCP building. What I love is how the game concludes with varying resolutions for the supporting characters, based on our choices throughout the campaign. Pickles will either meet a tragic end or adopt a more altruistic lifestyle. Ulysses can either continue as a disgruntled OCP employee or evolve into a dedicated police officer. Blanche can overcome her trauma, and her outlook on machines swings between distrust and a commitment to understanding them, while Ortiz either becomes a talk show host or rises as a figure in the underground resistance against OCP. In the wake of these events, OCP faces potential acquisition by the Japanese corporation Kanimitsu, setting the stage for the developments of the third film in the series.
We at Media Break welcome them with open arms. Delta City, yokoso!
Rogue City brings a certain old-school B-movie magic to gaming. It won't win any awards for groundbreaking graphics or cutting-edge audio. The textures might not pop off the screen, and the lighting effects are more understated than what we've become accustomed to in today's gaming blockbusters. Plus, the gang members seem to have attended the same voice acting school, but there's something endearingly retro about these quirks that adds to its charm. The gameplay strikes a balance between straightforward action-packed A to B missions and more exploratory sandbox segments where the game really leans into the cop aspect of RoboCop. The game smartly incorporates a straightforward leveling system, giving you the gratifying sense of advancement. Skill points can be allocated to various areas. Each cluster of skill upgrades unlocks a perk. Because of this, there's a real incentive to poke around every nook and cranny, with hidden bits of evidence and bonus objectives, all serving as lucrative sources of XP. While the game may not boast the most stunning visuals and can stumble into the occasional bug, its affection for the RoboCop franchise is unmistakable and endearing. In the end, for fans of the series and lovers of retro action alike, it's a delightful, adrenaline-fueled romp through a world that's as familiar as it's exciting.
There is one more person here that needs saving.
Well, that's all for today, folks. I hope you all have a happy new year. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if there's anything else you'd like for me to cover, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Nihat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh my god! Murphy!